Hello, and thank you for joining us here at PPI 365 for our Microsoft Dynamic Training Demo Series. My name is Kelsey Chambers, and today's presentation will be a high-level overview of creating a dashboard that is customized to both you and your business's level of needs. So let's get started.
Okay, so I've taken the liberty of logging into Dynamics 365. You'll have your own personalized view, and of course it'll be something you'll be able to create once we've completed this demonstration. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to go up under your sales category. If you don't see this immediately, you should be able to see it under your Dynamics 365, but we'll just go ahead and hit our drop down. And if you don't see it here either, you can scroll. I know mine's to the left. Select Sales, and then you want to select your dashboard section. This will bring you to the initial primary default dashboard, but we're going to go ahead and create a new one. By doing that, you're going to click at the new button up at the top, and then you should see your layout options. For this process, we're going to go ahead and do the 3-column regular dashboard, although there's many options that Microsoft does provide. However, we're going to do the 3 columns, so it's 3 by 2, so that we can do one component of the dashboard each as an example.
For the first component section that we'll be going over, we'll be adding a bar chart, which is displayed as the bar symbol on the far left. For today's exercise, we will be building a dashboard for a fictional car dealership. In this example, we will select a bar graph. Once selected, you will see that there are 3 types of records you need to select. The first record type will be account, and then under view, you want my active accounts, and then under chart, we're going to do accounts by industry. Once you select add, you will see a preview in the dashboard. Look how simplified getting the data you need is at the tip of your fingers. By the time we start into the list, our third component, you really should be getting a hang of things now. As always, we will select the appropriate icon over here. Once selected, a dialog box will open, allowing you to pick from the following. For record type, we're going to go ahead and use the account KPI items, which has already been pre-populated. And for the view, we're going to utilize the active account KPI items, which once again has already been pre-populated. Now, after we select the add button, the information will pull in, but it won't pull in until it's been published. The third component is personally one of my favorites. Microsoft's new Relationship Assistant is really a great new program that's been embedded into most recent versions of Microsoft Dynamics 365 programs. This sort of acts as an algorithm that pulls data based on your daily workflows. Some of those features include defined cards, those include deadlines, emails, tracking, and really a whole slew of things that you can do. The possibilities can become almost infinite as it learns from you. The way that you add it to your dashboard is by selecting the little light bulb with the check mark on next to it. Once you select it, you'll see the Relationship Assistant has been placed inside of the dashboard, but you aren't going to see any information until it starts to learn from your daily workflows.
The final component that we're going to insert is the Organization Insight component. This is used more for monitoring and managing all the way from an individual active user functions really to overall operations. You can see it indicated by the line with the arrow. And as we open it, it'll show that the chart is unavailable because we don't have any data for the storage use default by tenant. But for this view, we're going to go ahead and use active users performing specific operations. Once we select that, notice that we do get a preview. And we don't have a lot of active users because this is a test. We do have the option to use 48 hours look back or even farther, and all the way up to 30-day look back. Notice how the data does significantly increase. This really is an awesome tool for management, especially if you're trying to monitor sales and performance of phone calls made, inbound and outbound, customer appointments that are being utilized, things like that, and to really just compare how the team is working together and really to identify your top performers and those that might need a little bit more assistance into getting where you need them to be. But it doesn't have to just be utilized as a management tool. It is also a great option for people to use as similar to Strive. I know I'm super competitive, so anytime I see someone's doing a little bit better than me, I want to see if I can go in a little bit harder and faster and get the results that my manager and I am really expecting of myself. And just like that, you've now created all the components that you need for your dashboard within the Dynamics 365 system. The last thing that we need to do is we need to give it a name. So for this particular instance, we're going to use our sales dashboard. And I'm going to put up the front car sales dashboard because, again, this is for a fictional dealership. Then you're going to want to, of course, hit your save button. Anytime you're doing anything, you're navigating away from the screen or anything else like that, make sure that you're going to hit the save button. It does not have the option to automatically save your work as you move along, like maybe some of the other Microsoft programs have, like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So you do have to make sure that you're hitting that save button. It's probably the most important thing because after all that work, you want to make sure that you don't lose it. So after we hit the save button, it is not going to navigate you to a new window. So just kind of watch if your window up here is still loading or if you see that it's still refreshing or anything else like that to know when it's completed. Once we have this saved, the next thing that we're going to want to look at is our properties. And this is where you can change the name, put description, you can enable it for mobile or anything else like that. And as mentioned before, we are going to enable this one for mobile just for the ease of access within the system. If you want to have any sections that are a little bit bigger, anytime you're selected on something, you can also increase the height and width of one of your cards by hitting your ellipses on the right. But as you mentioned, we are going to go ahead and leave this as the normal 3x2, just because it's easier to see this way. If you do need to edit any of your components or you have any issues, you can double click them to open up the options that you had already mentioned or messed with or changed before. It is going to give you a lot more options after you've initially added it. So keep that in mind that the window is not necessarily going to be specifically the same, but your data source is what we set. You also are given these additional options as far as displaying in search boxes or indexes or anything else like that. Display only or displaying the chart selection. This allows your users or yourself, depending on who you're making the dashboard for, to kind of make changes live within the dashboard. And then, of course, if it's mobile or not. So if any updates are made, then it would refresh here. So I'm going to hit save one more time. And then I'm going to hit the close button. Now it does take a second to load because keep in mind, like I said, the Dynamics 365 program does have a lot of data saved within it. So we're just going to give it a few seconds to load here. If you don't see that it's loading as fast as you want, you can also use the refresh button or the recently viewed items here. And you can also just go ahead and refresh by hitting the enter button after you highlight this HTML bar. So now it brought up our car sales dashboard. Now the important thing to keep in mind too, now that we can see all of the live data, remember I had mentioned that your relationship assistant is not going to display any data until it has learned from you. So this is why you're seeing this blank here. The other thing that we want to see is if you want to change this so that it is a shared dashboard, meaning that everybody in your organization or specific people can see, that's something that you're going to want to go ahead and select up here. And then you can add either by specific users or team. You can take away permission, or you can really just share it with anybody. Here's where you can select if there are individuals on here. I'm just going to go ahead and keep this check mark here. Anytime a new individual or user or team is added in, it should hopefully pull it in automatically. You can also reset and come change any of your options at any point in time. And I'm going to hit the share button. You can also use the assign button to assign the dashboard to yourself or another user or team. This is really great if you as a manager are making a dashboard that you want your whole team to utilize. I'm going to go ahead and leave this assigned to just myself. And then this is where you'll see all the different types of dashboards that you've created or that you've already made. And here's my car sales dashboard. And here's again where you can see it live. And if you need to refresh any of your data, you can hit refresh here. So this will conclude our high-level overview of the dashboard creation within Dynamics 365. I hope I've covered enough information for you to be able to create a dashboard and maybe play around with it a little. However, if you ever have any questions, you're welcome to email us at, again, info@ppi365.com. Again, that's info@ppi365.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.